I know how to develop a budget. I know when to cut expenses. I know when revenues aren't strong enough to support the business, what you have to do to survive. The people running the state in New Hampshire right now have no clue. They have run the state completely into the ground. We have spent, our budget in the last budgetary period increased by 17.5%. We were in a recession then. Still in a recession, even worse. This budgetary period, they increased the budget by 10.5%. 28 new fees and taxes last budgetary period, 38 new fees and taxes this budgetary period. That's almost 70. As a small businessman, when I first started, it was a very pleasant state to do business as a small businessman. You could keep the yeoman portion of the fruits of your labor, hire people, you know, get out there and purchase capital equipment, do the things to stimulate the economy that need to be done. And you folks that have lived in New Hampshire a long time know that we went through some great years. I mean, really, really fruitful years. Well, not so much now. It's been very, very difficult. We have the business enterprise tax. Doesn't even consider the fact that you may or may not make a profit. They take it anyway. It's based on payroll. We have the business profits tax, 8.5%. 8.5%. We have a workman's comp. Workman's comp rate's the highest, one of the highest in the country, and the corporate tax rate in the state of New Hampshire is the highest in the United States of America. We now rank dead last in state services, 50th. Did you know that? Last. Remember how nice our roads used to be? I do. My truck had 4 alignments because I'm driving everywhere in the last couple of months. Now I can't go on any trip now across the state without my front end going on me. It's terrible. Well, we now have, in their infinite wisdom, a state government that just yesterday I found out did decide to enact the LLC tax. The LLC tax, anybody an LLC owner here? Because I am. Anybody else? I think you need to know what this means. I mean, the LLC tax was passed in the dark of night during the last budgetary period, 1 a.m. in the morning with no hearings at all. That's unconstitutional, folks. You're supposed to have 3 to 4 hearings minimum before any new taxes are levied upon us. But when you put people in control of your state government, similar to what's going on in Washington, where you have control, you have a Democrat at the top, Executive Council is controlled by Democrats. And your state legislature, both Senate and House, are controlled by Democrats. They do it because they can. They're agenda driven. So now we have an LLC tax placed directly on around 45,000 LLC owners in this state. A limited liability corporation is really geared for folks who needed corporate type liability protection but were small. Usually partnership level or proprietorship level. Well now, what's going to happen is, and they're going to go retroactive with this to a year ago January. A year ago January. The LLC tax, you're going to have a bureaucrat from the Department of Revenue Administration come into your business, do an audit, and they're going to decide what your reasonable compensation should be, or should have been. They're going to decide. It's none of their business. You can take whatever you want. You've earned it. You pay taxes on it. But no, they're going to decide. And this is how it'll work. If you take $100,000 that you feel you've earned, they're going to come in and decide, well, maybe you should have only taken $20,000 because a few of the other LLCs did similar work and that's all they took. So $20,000 is all we're really going to allow you to be taxed at the 8.5%. Now you're going to be taxed the full $100,000 at 8.5%, but they're going to tack on another 5% for everything over $20,000, 13.5%. Folks, it's a business killer. And if it's a business killer, what else is it? It's a job killer. Unemployment is now going to soar. Another thing. I've lived in this state for 40 years, 40 years. And up until a few years ago, I've never seen a migration out. But the last couple of years, that's exactly what's happening. This is the same symptom that has happened with all the other New England states that have initiated overburdensome taxes, particularly income tax and sales taxes. And this party right now that's in power is pushing very hard for that very thing.